Welcome to Retro Video Playback and to episode 15 of Tape Talk Tuesday, an episodic video series where I showcase and discuss various movies on VHS. This week I'm taking a look at the classic 90s Jim Carrey comedy, Dumb and Dumber. My viewing of Dumb and Dumber growing up was somewhat different. This wasn't the movie we were watching. This was. Rather than owning the actual movie on VHS, one of my older brothers at some point recorded Dumb and Dumber when it played on cable. Taking a closer look, complete with commercial breaks, this version of Dumb and Dumber was recorded on TV in 1998 on CTV. CTV, if you're unaware, is the Canadian Television Network, one of the major networks in Canada, owned by one of the media giants in Canada, Bell Media. The recording on this tape starts out with a promotional trailer for Dumb and Dumber on CTV with a very 90s voiceover.
Now, Dumb and Dumber on the CTV movie.
After a brief CTV movie introduction, it gets into the movie, making its way through the movie with periodic commercial breaks.
Look, Dad, just take a Pepsi AC.
And if you ever watched, or maybe still watch, movies on cable with commercials, it's funny how that commercial break can always be predicted, or you get accustomed to it with certain movies if you've watched them enough. And then if you watch a movie without commercials, you're almost caught off guard when the movie continues along instead of breaking for a commercial. I think that's maybe a more unique experience at this point, but it really was a part of the movie watching experience before the ubiquity of home media, including streaming, although it seems commercials, or ads, are becoming just as common now on streaming as they are and were on cable. For a little while, there was a generation of kids who didn't know that experience of a commercial coming on, rushing off to use the bathroom or refresh drinks and snacks, and getting back to the couch before the show or movie was back on from break. But now, with more streaming services adding lower tier options that contain ad breaks, this experience is coming back. But while it's a funny experience that many of us had as a kid to look back on now, that rush of sprinting to the kitchen or the bathroom and getting back in time, in reality, commercials and ads are a nightmare, and I have no desire to bring them back into my life. We watched Dumb and Dumber a lot, and it was quoted quite a bit in our household, but it turns out that with this recorded TV copy, we weren't even watching the complete version of the movie. As you may be familiar, it was common, and to my knowledge is still common, that movies get edited for TV, sometimes to adjust the total runtime, or in the case of Dumb and Dumber, also to remove inappropriate, not suitable for TV scenes. Two specific scenes that were cut from this TV version were: one, the scene where Lloyd goes to use the bathroom and sees the writing on the bathroom stall before almost being assaulted by Seabass, and two, the scene where the police officer drinks the tainted beer bottles. I don't think I saw the true, complete version of Dumb and Dumber until at least my late teens, which is probably for the best given the mature nature of those scenes and the fact that I was watching the movie when I was a young kid. Looking at the actual VHS copy of Dumb and Dumber, we've got a white background and an image of Harry and Lloyd played by Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey, with the movie title in big, bold blue letters and the tagline, "For Harry and Lloyd, every day is a no-brainer." When looking at this cover, I think it's clear what you'd be getting yourself into as the viewer. The top and the sides have a yellow background, which feels appropriate for the movie, and the same Dumb and Dumber logo as the front cover. The back features a quote from Bob Campbell of Newhouse News Syndicate, "Obnoxiously triumphant," which, what does that even mean? Following this quote is the write-up. Jim Carrey, The Mask, Batman Forever, and Jeff Daniels, Speed, Gettysburg, are too lame to live and too dense to die as a pair of deliriously dim-witted pals on a cross-country road trip to return a briefcase full of cash to its rightful owner. Along the way, they'll confound cops, kidnappers, and anyone and everyone who has the misfortune of crossing their paths in this comic caper for every idiot in the family. Approximately 1 hour, 47 minutes. Following the write-up is an interesting mix of pictures. We've got two stills from the movie, each featuring Lloyd and Harry, a somewhat odd promotional shot of Lauren Holly as Mary Swanson, and a promotional shot of Lloyd and Harry acting goofy. Closing out the back of the box is the production credits and other miscellaneous information. The tape is your typical boring late 90s VHS tape with inked-on information. The movie title, color identification, movie runtime, Alliance Video logo, and a warning against reproduction of the tape. For me, Dumb and Dumber is endlessly watchable. Part of this, or entirely because of this, comes from the fact that I grew up watching the movie. I would absolutely understand if someone came into this movie for the first time and just found it annoying and obnoxious. It's loud, immature, and it's goofy. For some of us, that brings a certain strange charm, and for others it makes it an unwatchable, unbearable waste of time. I know that feeling. There are shows and movies I loved when I was younger that I just find to be loud and annoying now. But for some reason, Dumb and Dumber is not one of those movies, and I still enjoy it as much as ever. With that, we find ourselves at the end of our discussion of Dumb and Dumber on VHS and the end of episode 15 of Tape Talk Tuesday. Thanks for watching Retro Video Playback.